Welcome to Civilian Jeeps. I'm Jake, and on this episode, I'm going to be taking $2,031. That's the money that I've made off YouTube this year, and I want to show you guys that you don't have to have a whole lot of money to buy a cheap Jeep. So I'm going to take this money, and I'm going to buy a Jeep that's roadworthy enough to drive for 1 month. I'm going to drive this Jeep for a month, and I have to stay under budget, whether that be repairs, purchase price, the whole thing. Will it be a 1-ton swap JKU with a supercharger? No, I highly doubt that. But I am going to show you that even with cheap Jeeps, you can still have fun and get them for a decent price. So here's how you buy a cheap Jeep. So that's right, I have $2,031 total. So if I buy a Jeep for $1,500, for instance, I'll have $531 to put into it. Now, this is going to be hard enough to find one for $2,000, let alone fix everything for, if I bought it for $2,000, I'd have to fix it for $31. But there's another, strike against me. I have a 19-month-old daughter that I have to take her to daycare and drive her around quite often. So not only does it need to be somewhat reliable, especially after I get it on the road, it needs to be safe. So I can't just buy like an old CJ or Wagoneer Commando, something cool, and some death trap. Like I can't do that with my daughter. So that adds another like curveball to it. But I'm gonna try to find something that fits the bill, and I'm gonna show you guys where you might find a cheap Jeep if you're interested in something. So these are the Jeeps that I'm gonna be looking for. Specifically looking for Wranglers, maybe like a TJ, YJ, maybe a JK. Highly doubt JK though. It'd probably have some serious problems. Even the TJ YJs are probably gonna have serious problems. And then the XJs, the Cherokees, even Grand Cherokees like ZJ, WJ, what is it? WK2, that's getting a little too new though. I highly doubt I'll get a WK2. But anyway, even the Grand Cherokees, maybe the Commanders. I actually kind of like the Commanders. They come in the 5.7 Hemis and can be had for a decent price. Now, like I mentioned, the CJs, the old stuff, there's no way. There's no way that I get one for under $2,000 unless I just strike gold and fall upon somebody that don't know what they have, which I kind of doubt it. So I'm thinking Jeeps that I'm going to try to stay away from would be like Renegades, Liberties, Compasses. Are they really even a Jeep? No. I mean, I can go find a $2,000 Honda Civic and probably be a fine daily driver. I want to find something that's still four-wheel drive and Jeep-like that I can use as a Jeep. So those are the Jeeps that I'm looking for and really going to keep my eye out for. Now, some things to consider whenever you're looking for your Jeep. One of the major things you should look for is rust. You can do a whole lot of fixing, but if you just bought some hunk of junk that's been up north or sitting on the coast and you have to, do extensive welding and patching and repairs, you're going to blow your $2,000 budget pretty quick. Another thing that you probably should look out for is if it's running and driving, weird ticks, knocks, smoke blowing out of the back, burnt piston rings, valve seats, burnt valves, that type stuff. The transmission. I mean, besides from the engine, the next costly thing would be the transmission transfer case. Does it go through all the gears? Does it shift? Does it do the things that it's supposed to do to drive down the road? Because if the transmission's out of it, I mean, even if you have to pull a junkyard transmission or a transfer case, you're probably looking at, $1,000, maybe a little less, but it can still add up very quickly. So with a $2,000 budget, you really got to hone in on the rust, engine, the transmission, transfer case, the wiring. The wiring, you can have electrical nightmare gremlins in your wiring. Another thing that is going to get me is safety. How safe is this vehicle for $2,000? And can you haul what you need to haul in it to be a daily driver, whether that be kids, groceries, just whatever you might need to haul, is it feasible with your $2,000? But most likely, if you're not a YouTuber, your $2,000 is just going to be a fun beat around Jeep to go play in the mountains, and I do plan on doing that with this Jeep, but the main goal is going to be a daily driver. But one thing that, especially right now, as you can see, the sun's went down and it's only like 5:30 outside. Daylight savings time is in full swing, and it's cold. You want heat. I'm not so much about AC. I can roll the windows down, but if it don't have heat, that's going to be a major downside on your purchase. So you want to check the heat, check the tire condition. You know, if you're having dry rotted tires and you're going to have to spend money on that or patch them or repair them, but they might be beyond repair for $2,000. So make sure you check out tire condition. Hasn't been smoked in, most likely for $2,000. It's been smoked in, whether that be, you know, Cheech and Chong smoke or whatever type of smoke you want to say. Probably some drugs has went down in this vehicle for $2,000. And the last thing would just be, there's a good chance if it's $2,000 it's not ran in a little while, so it could be mold and mildew inside, which might be kind of a pain to clean that up. So those are a few things that you probably want to look out for with your Jeep. Some places that you might find your cheap Jeep would be Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Craigslist is actually a good one, although people downplay it sometimes because there's a lot less traffic now, so there's less people to compete with. You can find some pretty good deals on Craigslist. So Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, word of mouth, maybe like co-workers, that sort of thing, people you go to church with, relatives. You can find some pretty good deals that way. And also just passing by. When you're driving down the road, you might see something on the side of the road, Jeep-wise, that looks maybe a little too good to be true. So you stop in and might pick up a good deal. And even if it's not for sale, if you see something that you might like, just knock on their door, ask them if it's for sale, and you can get some pretty good deals that way. But that's enough of me like jabbering on, and let's just go ahead and go find something $2,000 or less. I'm going to put my phone up on the screen here, and we're just going to start cruising through Facebook, Craigslist, and websites like that and try to find something. So let's go ahead, open up Facebook here, and we'll go to Marketplace, and there's a few things that I want you to know whenever you go into Marketplace to help you find a cheap Jeep. So as you'll see, we're in Marketplace. So go to your search bar. First, just type in Jeep, see what comes up. And whenever your category filters up at the top come up, you want to go to past price. Yeah, price. Now, one thing to consider, I know that I have $2,031 to spend. However, I'm going to double that. Say you're like looking to spend $3,000 or $4,000. Then you might not want to double it, but at least go a couple thousand to maybe 2,000 or 3,000 more than what you're really wanting to spend, because you can always, negotiate with people. So just keep that in the back of your head. I'm going to put my price maximum at $4,000, and I want to see what all pops up for that price. Now, I know that I probably shouldn't do anything below year 1986, and I would love if I could, because that's really my niche is 1986 and down with AMC. But the maximum or the minimum year, should be 1986. I need it somewhat safe for my daughter. So let's cruise through here. I'm predicting that I'll get a lot of Grand Cherokees, Commanders, stuff like that, and they're probably going to have some issues. So another good thing, see, like there's a Cherokee right here, 254,000 miles. So, and that thing is a little on the rough side. So another thing you can do, go back, just basically do Jeep once again, go over to where it says date listed, last 24 hours, because if you really want to find a good deal on it, and it's a good deal, there's a good chance that either the person wants too much for it and they eventually go down, or they literally just posted it. Like, you got to pounce on stuff with cash in hand if you want to find just a screaming deal on a nice Jeep. So that's one thing that I'm going to say. Make sure you go to date listed and within the last 24 hours. So, here's 365,000 miles with this XJ. Man, I know it's got the 4.0 in it and the AW4 transmission in these Cherokees, or most all of them, but 300 and something thousand, 350. That's just a little crazy. So I'm going to scroll through Marketplace here. Well, I have found a few potential daily drivers, so let's go ahead and go over them. I ended up going pre-1986 just because I wanted to see, and I found a Wagoneer that I think is really cool. It's a 1983, $4,000. It's usually $7,500. That's what they had it priced for, was $75,000. So they've already come off $3,500. So there's a good chance that this Wagoneer you can pick up for, I really don't see them going below $3,000. $3,000 is probably their bottom dollar, but I'm probably going to message them because a Wagoneer as a daily driver for a month would be sweet. My wife probably wouldn't like that for my daughter's sake, but it would be cool though. It'd be a cool Jeep to keep. And that's one thing, like, I don't know what I'm going to do after I find this sub $2,000 Jeep. I know I'm going to daily drive it for a month. If I end up liking it, I might keep it, although I've already got a few Jeeps, as you might have seen, but I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. But it's going to be cheap enough where I could just send it. Go have fun, if you know what I mean. But anyway, let's get back to it. So the Wagoneer is possibly, I mean, they have a whole page of the bad, if you want to pause and read that. Nothing that I see. I mean, Vapor Lock just put a spacer in there, you know, that they've seafoamed it. Nothing that I see like I couldn't fix. So I just don't think they're going to go down to $2,000. Actually, I didn't need to be like $1,500, to be completely honest with you, to have enough money to fix some things on it. I don't know that the Wagoneer is going to work out. Now, one that I did find is a so the Grand Cherokee started with ZJ in the early 90s, and up until like 98, 99, they switched to the WJ. This is a WJ, has a lift kit on it. It's $2,500, which I think is a pretty good price. It's been on there for 2 months, so you can bet your dollar that they're going to come down on the price. This might be a $1,500 Jeep. Now, the potential could be cool, great SUV to make something out of it. If you're reading the description with me, I don't have a whole lot of faith in this, but I don't know if I get it for the right price. I've always kind of wanted a WJ. I think they're really neat. This one would be super cool. This is a XJ, a 96 XJ, and they've already come off the price from $4,000 to $3,000, but it's been listed 4 months ago, which seems kind of odd. Why is it not sold yet? So that's Marietta, Georgia. Oh, and my radius, I'm saying like 4 or 5 hours from my house. I don't expect the thing to drive all the way back to my house. I have a truck and trailer. I'll just go get it because I fully intend, for the price I'm willing to pay, to have to do some work to it. 245,000 miles, that's quite a bit. And it's only a 2-wheel drive XJ, so that kills it a little bit. But they're easy to swap. They're not hard to swap, but I don't think that's going to fit into the budget. So I'd just be daily driving a 2-wheel drive XJ, which isn't too bad, but I would kind of like a 4-wheel drive XJ. So here's another XJ, pretty similar. They want $3,850 for it, so that's a little steep, but they might come off. It's got the 4.0 in it. It's got 180,000 miles, so sub 200,000 miles. So that's definitely a big plus. Kind of newer tires, 95% tread. So that's something that, you know, that would be worthwhile into looking and talking to them. So you can bet I'm going to, you know, probably send them a message. Here is a WK, and I kind of like the look of the WK, to be honest with you, especially if it's got like a little lift on it, maybe a little bit of stuff done to it. Now, the WK come in the 3.7, 4.7, and 5.7. Don't want the 3.7. It's a 6-cylinder, underpowered. The 4.7 V8, I've heard, has quite a few problems, but, I mean, it is a Jeep. The 5.7 has its share of problems, but it's a V8 with some power, so that would be cool to have a 5.7. Kind of leaning towards that, to be completely honest with you. If I can find a 5.7 Hemi powered, you know, it ain't going to be a Wrangler or anything like that, but it'd be so cool to find a 5.7 Hemi in one of these vehicles. So this one's been on there for 3 months. They want $4,000 for it. It does have the 5.7. They might trade, regular maintenance, new tires all the way around. This one is definitely one I want to look at. It's got 175,000 miles and looks to be really clean. I don't like black though. I'm just not big on black vehicles. Well, the interior's kind of trashed. The outside, they had me excited there for a minute. I'm thinking it might have some rust too, based on the door jamb right there. But I might message them. I got a lot of lowballing to do, if you know what I mean. Here is another Cherokee. Here's a 98 Cherokee Sport. Oh, we got the mossy oak seat covers on this bad boy. Oh, real tree seat covers. This is a beauty. Camobello, South Carolina. So that's not too bad. Sunroof. Dang, this XJ is high class with a sunroof. Wow. I feel like that's probably aftermarket. I could be wrong. 246,000 miles, but the 4.0s, they go a while, and I'm not looking to spend a bunch of money. But the thing that makes me mad, these Cherokees, if it was pre-COVID, these Cherokees would be like 300, 400, 500, maybe up to 1,000. The cash for clunkers screwed up so many of the old Jeeps. Now this one I'm pretty interested in. This is a 2008 Grand Cherokee Limited. It's listed about a month ago. It's in Raleigh, North Carolina. It looks really clean. It has new tires on it, and it has the power options. It's a limited, so it's got quite a few options on it. It looks to be like a 2-inch lift. Very clean, but the issue with this one is it smokes on startup. Burns oil after long periods of time, and it might need a four-wheel drive actuator. So I bet we could probably get this one for cheaper than $35. Here is another WK for $2,500 in Columbus, Ohio. Rust-wise, I'd say this one has rust. Looks to be pretty clean though. I mean, it looks to be in relatively good shape. Let's zoom in on it. Yeah, you can see on the fender there's a good amount of rust. But for my purchase price, I'm gonna have to get over the whole rust thing. But with the Cherokees, Grand Cherokees, they're unibodies, so you don't have body on frame. It's just all one package. So you kind of want to get one that doesn't have a lot of rust, or your control arms and the whole transmission skid member and all that will just fall out of it if it's been heavily rusted. Now here's a TJ for $4,000, but it's a 01, and it's got a lot of oxidation on the paint. But I mean, I don't really care about the paint. However, runs great. That's a plus. But it's a 01, and the 4.0s, if you know, from 2000 2001, they had a bad head casting. I think it's like P0331 if I remember right. So they're really prone to cracking the head and blowing a head gasket. Another one here. Here's a 2010 Commander. It looks to be, it's only $1,000. It's not leather, it's cloth. Don't really care if it's leather or cloth. That's not really a big deal to me. Garage kept, but it doesn't run. Might have to see why this doesn't run. And they don't give a picture of the engine. I don't know if it's got the 3.7, 4.7, 5.7. I have no idea. So here's another one. Here is a 99 Cherokee 2-door. That one's nice. I like this. I like this a lot. Well, now I think about it, it's a 2-door. It'd be kind of hard to get my daughter in and out. But, I mean, it's kind of temporary as far as a daily driver. I do like this. $2,500. 223,000 miles. 4.0, 4x4. Pretty good. Make an extra vehicle. It's got some rust. The usual for a Jeep's what they say. That definitely is something I'm going to look into. The one that I would love to just go over my budget and go buy, this one right here, 1984 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. If my budget was higher, you can about bet I'd be going to buy this. I love this Grand Wagoneer, and I'm kind of wanting to, scrap this whole video and go buy this Grand Wagoneer, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to my $2,000. But I've always wanted a Wagoneer. They're so cool. They just scream, classic family road trip Americana situation. Here's another 2005 Grand Cherokee WK. It's got looks to be a 2 or 3 inch lift on it. New tires. Definitely going to send them a message. I really like this. 214,409. The issue with it though, and why it's only $2,000, is because it has an issue where when you take it out of park, it just dies. Might be something electrical, possibly in the transmission, maybe like a vacuum line. I'm not entirely sure. Could be PCM related. I don't know. But surely I could figure out why it's dying when you take it out of park. Seems like it'd be relatively easy to fix, and I would love to have the 5.7, no doubt. So that is in Ashland, Virginia. So those are the ones that I've found on Marketplace in my short search here. So another thing, let's go look at Craigslist. And I'm going to open up the Craigslist app. You can also find it on a desktop computer if you don't have the app. Well, I've got it pulled up here. My location I've got as 200 and we'll say 50 miles. And if I have to go past 250 miles to find a cheap Jeep, I'm just not doing it. It costs more to go pick it up than what it's worth. So I'm going to choose this destination and I'm going to type in Jeep. And then once the Jeeps start popping up, I'm going to go over here to filter and sort. The minimum I'm going to say is $500. The reason I'm doing that is I want to weed out just like the small parts for Jeeps. So the maximum I'm going to put as $4,000. And everything else, I think I'm fine with everything else. I'm going to sort from low to high and then hit apply. So I'm going to go down through here, see what all I can find, sort through just the BS because Craigslist has a lot of BS. So I'm going to try to get as much as I can for you guys so we can see what Jeeps might be on here. Well, I found a few on Craigslist to go over, so let's get right into it. This is a Jeep Liberty. I really don't want a Jeep Liberty. I just feel like they're not very Jeep-like. And it has a misfire on cylinder number 1. You know, typical Chrysler type stuff. But it does have 193,000 miles and it's four-wheel drive. Sub 200,000, so I mean, that's a plus, but I really just don't want a Jeep Liberty. And cylinder 1 misfire can be anything from spark plugs to wires to head gasket. It could be a lot of different things, so I don't know that I'm really going to fool with that one, but it is priced right, so maybe. This Cherokee, this XJ, is high on my list. I really want this XJ. It's a 90 four-wheel drive. It's a manual 5-speed. It's got the 4.0 in it. It's got 186,000 miles on it, and a lot of stuff done to it. And I mean, it's no showpiece, but he's got it priced for $3,200. It has Corbeau style seats in it. I'm really digging this Cherokee right here. I like this. I don't know if it has the black on the body on the bottom because of rust, possibly, so it might be a rusty mess. Definitely looks like it might need to be cleaned up. So alright, let's keep going down the line here. Here's a 1998 TJ 4-cylinder. It is 4-wheel drive, only got 122,000 miles on it, and they messed up in the description and called it a 88, like a YJ. So I don't even really think they know exactly what they have here. It looks to be really dirty and doesn't have a top that I can see. Let's see if it has a top in one of the... No, it doesn't look like it has a top, so that would be an issue. But I do have a TJ top, so if I get it for the right price, that's not a deal breaker for me, and I would love to clean it up. Now, some of you might wonder what happened to my other cheap Jeep, the YJ that I had. Well, yeah, I would have loved to continued working on that one. I got that one driving in good shape, and lo and behold, one of my buddies wanted to buy it, and they only had one vehicle in, him and his wife, and he was really needing a vehicle, so I sold it to him at a pretty good price, and now I don't have a cheap Jeep anymore. And honestly, I really like cheap Jeeps, so I wanted to continue with the Rio Grande YJ, but ended up selling it. Kind of miss it, but it is what it is. So let's keep going. Here's a 2004 Grand Cherokee Limited. This is a ZJ. No, wait, my bad. This is a WJ. This is a WJ, has 191,000 miles, 8-cylinder. It says it's rear-wheel drive. There's a chance they just misput that on there and it's actually a four-wheel drive. I don't see any four-wheel drive markings on it though. I like the leather, and it looks to be a really clean WJ. So, and they even give the Carfax on it. Let's see if it says it's four-wheel drive. No, it actually is rear-wheel drive, so I'm probably not going to put that one on my list. I mean, if you're getting a Jeep, you probably want it to be four-wheel drive to go have fun with, but you can swap it to four-wheel drive, but we're not going to have the money to do that. So let's keep going on down the line. Here's another Jeep Grand Cherokee WJ. This one really sparked my interest because it runs and drives and shifts, but it has death wobble, which death wobble can be a whole slew of things, but also can be some pretty simple stuff too. So depending on how bad this thing's clapped out, I might be able to fix it. So I'm really eyeing this WJ right here, but they don't give many pictures of it, which is odd. They only give one picture of it, but they do actually give a cell phone number. So that's another thing I want to say. Talk to people on the phone. I mean, if you go back and forth and ask a bunch of questions on a Jeep that's worth just a few $1,000s, people probably aren't going to think you're serious. So if you really want to try to get a cheap Jeep, try to just talk to them on the phone, and if they're close enough, just meet them face to face. Face to face and being heard over the phone can go a long way. So lastly, here's another. This is a WJ. I really like this one, although it has a lot of miles on it. And it has hesitation in it. And with that many miles, I bet it's probably a head gasket. Or, I mean, it could be something else like ignition related or, spark. It does have a little bit of damage on the side of it. But it's $2,500. So I bet I could get this one within budget, especially since it's been listed a month ago. But I just want to show you guys that you can find stuff on Craigslist as well, and pretty decent stuff. I like going through Craigslist because not as many people search on Craigslist. I'm going to get back with you guys whenever I'll go over all these. What was that, like 16, 17 maybe, that I need to message people. I've already messaged some, got some potential leads, but I've got even more with Craigslist. Well, I have found what I believe to be the perfect daily driver budget Jeep, and I'm really excited about it. Getting it for $1,600. Didn't start off that way though. He definitely wanted more than $1,600, but after a few days of negotiation, I have settled and he has settled on $1,600. So that means I'm gonna have $431 to fix the issues, and it does have some issues. So I'm excited to see where this series goes as far as what we're going to get into with it. I'm going to pick it up right now. This video is really long, I already know that. I just wanted to show you guys how to buy a cheap Jeep and be persistent, but be reasonable. People, call him on the phone like I did this guy. So he said that people have offered him more money for it, but I sound like an actual guy that's going to show up, not waste his time. So he is taking a little less, and that goes a long way. So on this episode of Civilian Jeeps, we have found a $1,600 cheap Jeep that we're going to budget daily drive. So I'm not going to show you what it is. That'll be for next episode 2. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you in episode 2. And when it comes to Jeeps, well, keep it classic, but also keep it cheap.